Hello, welcome to Scrap Time. My name is Christine, and in this video I'm going to be showing you some of the similarities and differences between the Tim Holtz Distress Crayons and the Faber-Castell Gelatos. So in this video I'm going to be showing you the similarities and differences between Distress Crayons and the Faber-Castell Gelatos. So we're going to work with the same colors. So here I'm going to pick it is Mermaid Lagoon, Mustard Seed, and Twisted Citron of the Distress Crayons, and in the Faber-Castell, it's a cotton candy blue, a yellow, and a green. I'm not sure the colors of the yellow and the green. So, for both of these cards have a very thin layer of gesso on them. So we're going to start by making our quick background. I'm going to just put, so you can see it comes out nice and smooth. It's along, and then it has this twisted thing here to raise it up a bit. So I add the blue, I'm going to put some green. Now the other thing, of course, with Distress Crayons is they're currently available in 3 sets of 6. In neutrals, these are sort of a brighter color and then more of an earth tone range, but there is the possibility in the future of coming out with more of the distress colors. So if you like to work within the distress palette, you have that available for the Distress Crayons. So now with the Gelatos, they're more like a lipstick, but when they roll on, they look quite similar in their textures. There are quite a few colors of gelatos available now. I am not exactly sure on how many. Okay, so just by initial look, it looks like these ones are a little bit more pigmented and have a bit more color to them, like brightness to them than the gelatos. So now I'm going to use a brush with some water just to paint them out. Now I like to do this on a gesso layer. I find if you do it just on paper, even a watercolor paper, it won't blend out as well. The gesso gives it a nice smooth surface. And how dark your color will be is based on how much pigment you applied and then how much water you applied. So even though I'm getting this dark color, if yours isn't as dark, it could be you need more pigment or less water. So now we do the gelatos. And they also will blend out really well on the gesso. So even though the crayons had looked brighter before the water, I find the gelato card is darker now afterwards. So again, I don't know if it's the amount of pigment or water, but just at this point, the gelato has more color. We'll dry it though and see once it's dry how it looks. I'm just going to clean my mat here. So now that it's dry, the gelato one is darker than the crayons, but that could be there's more pigment in the gelatos, or it could just be my ratio from pigment to water. So next we're just going to smudge them. So I'm going to put some blue on here. And then just with my finger, you can smudge it. So you can use them dry as well. You don't have to use water. But again, this works best over a gesso or other medium underneath it. You could use like even a multi-medium, or even if you had acrylic paint. I'm gonna add some green. And then on this side, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to put some glue down. So you can see you can smudge the gelatos as well. Might add a little bit more color to this one where it was a little softer, and even maybe put a bit of yellow. Okay, so they both smudge really well. So now this is where our difference come in. We're going to take our stencil here, and I'm going to take a wet one. And we're going to rub away the color. And you can see how on the Distress crayons, that color just rubs right away. So you could do these interesting like removing techniques. So we can remove that, and you can see what we have there with the crayons. So now I'm going to get a new wet one, and we're going to try it with the gelatos. So you can still get some of it where we had put the gelatos on dry, they will be removed. But what's supposed to happen is the gelatos underneath are supposed to be permanent. When I did it here, you can see that all that gelato from the base was still there. Because once you dry a gelato, it is supposed to be permanent. And what is being removed is the gelatos we put on just by smudging it. Whereas the crayons are never permanent. So you can remove this and I can get it right to the white of the gesso if I was to go in more. Whereas with the gelatos, you'll still get some of that color. So the difference between the two is that the gelatos are to be permanent and the crayons are always able to be reactivated. Even though here when we did it, we did get quite a bit of that gelato off, but whereas you see here in my original sample, the painted gelatos was still on that base. So there's a lot of similarities between these two products. So it's more about which you prefer to use, what colors you like to use. As I said, the Distress crayons go with the Distress line, whereas the Faber-Castell just has a bunch of colors. I'm not as familiar with all the colors of them. But they're both fun to use, and give them a try and let me know which ones you prefer. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to give us a thumbs up, to like our video, and subscribe to Scrap Time videos on YouTube. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.